Hey book lovers, I'm Elise and welcome back to my channel. If you love sci-fi, or even if you're still curious about dipping your toes into the genre, then these 2026 releases should definitely be on your radar. So today we're going to look at a Goodreads list that I've been curating for the last few months. So the first book is Detour by Jeff Rake and Rob Hart. This is actually going to be the February book club pick for Libernauts book club, my science fiction book club. So if you are interested in this book, maybe check us out on Fable and Instagram, and you can read with us. This one sounds really fun. This is a sci-fi thriller. So it says, if The Martian and The Twilight Zone had a baby, it would be Detour, a thriller that messes with your head as you scramble to piece together what's going on. So this crew goes out into space on a space shuttle. But when they return to Earth, it turns out that the Earth they've returned to is not the same one that they left. Early reviews, 3.88 rating on Goodreads so far. Mostly 4 stars. That's pretty good. This next one comes out February 3rd, and that is The Forest on the Edge of Time by Jasmine Kirkbride. So this one, the future of another timeline meets the bone clocks in this dazzling piece of time travel climate fiction. I've not heard of either one of those, but I love time travel, and I've recently gotten into climate fiction, or cli-fi as it's called. So I think this one will be really interesting. Let's see, so recruited by the mysterious Project Kairos to change history and save the future from ecological disaster, Echo and Hazel are transported through time to opposite worlds. Hazel is the last human alive in a laboratory on a polluted island with nothing but tiny robots and an untrustworthy AI for company. Sounds like it'll be a fun adventure, and that's a really fun cover as well. Also, mostly 4 stars, 3.95 star rating so far. Also on February 3rd, we have The Universe Box by Michael Swanwick. This one is actually a short story collection. Discover the vast worlds and pocket universes of Michael Swanwick, the only author to win science fiction's most prestigious award 5 times in 6 years. Wow. In this dazzling new collection, the master of speculative short stories returns with new tales in which magic and science improbably coexist with myth and legend. 3.83 star rating so far. A little bit more variety in the ratings, but 5 stars is definitely in the lead so far. Another one for February 3rd, The Hospital at the End of the World. Early reviews look pretty good. 4.12 star rating so far. So this one is set in a near future where AI runs the world, involving a young medical student who must unravel family secrets to uncover the truth of his father's mysterious death. So that doesn't sound as interesting as I was hoping, and it's pretty long. Ooh, okay. The Shepherd Organization oversees every medical school in the country save one in New Orleans, the renegade Hippocrates, which still insists on human-led medicine. It is the last choice school for an ambitious young New Yorker named Pock. But after his father, himself a physician, dies under mysterious circumstance that seems connected to the Shepherds and their young CEO, Pock finds himself on a quest for answers that leads right to Hippocrates. Once enrolled, he stumbles upon a further mystery. A strange illness is plaguing newcomer. Okay, I'm glad I read the rest of the synopsis, because that sounds a lot more interesting than the first blurb did. All right, this one comes out February 10th, and this is going to be the Libernauts book club pick for the month of March, and that is Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinneman. A man must fight for his planet against impossible odds when gamers from Earth attempt to remotely annihilate it in this epic, fast-paced novel. So we've got video games, we've got different planets, and I mean, look at that cover. That looks pretty exciting. Early reviews look good, 4.14 star rating. February 17th, we have The Rain Seekers by Matthew Kressel. This one is a novella. It's 160 pages. Burned out and looking to put her past behind her, a former addict and recovering influencer interviews her fellow travelers en route to witness the first rain on Mars. It's got 22 ratings so far, 4.09 average, mostly 4 stars. Terraforming has advanced far enough that it can rain again. A group is chosen to try and experience the rain. Essentially a series of connected short story vignettes of the lives of the people on the trip and how and why they have undertaken this dangerous mission. February 17th, we have the Obake Code? Or Obaki Code. I kind of feel like it might be Obaki by Makana Yamamoto. All new standalone sci-fi caper from the author of Hamajang Luck. A bored hacker is forced by vicious gangsters to take down a crooked politician, only to find herself up against a code she might not be able to crack. I love a female lead, especially in sci-fi. Ooh, and it's a queer one too. Okay. After the heist of a lifetime, Malia has it all. A loft apartment aboard the massive Kepler station, expensive clothes, and a dev credit in her favorite video game. Video games are involved again. Nice. She's also bored as hell 3 years after retiring her mantle as the Obaki, the most infamous hacker in the quadrant and arguably the galaxy. Malia hasn't taken well to civilian life, so what's the harm in rigging a few cybernetic prize fights and making a little cash on the side? We have another Libernauts book club pick. We did a lot of 2026 releases this year. I think there's only 2 backlist and the rest are all releases that come out this year. So this one will be the pick in April. For Human Use by Sarah G. Pierce. This one is a horror sci-fi. I've heard it's a little weird, which could be why the ratings aren't as high. Finding a human connection online has become impossible. Enter a dating app that matches people with dead bodies. Somehow it has taken the world by storm. Millions of users are convinced that life with a corpse presents a better alternative to conventional relationships. And that's all I'm going to read on that. That premise sounds so interesting to me. Very curious to see where that goes. If you are also curious, join us in April. Looks like there's some romance involved. Makes sense. Kind of questionable considering who you're being matched with on the app, but I guess we'll see. 463 pages. Ratings are pretty scattered. Tinder for Corpses. February 24th, we have After the Fall by Epard Ashton. Part alien invasion story, part buddy comedy, and part workplace satire. 4.03 rating so far. 112 ratings. Would humans really make great pets? Humans must be silent. Humans must be obedient. Humans must be good. All his life, John has tried to live by those rules. Most days, it's not too difficult. 120 years after the fall of man, I'm assuming, and 100 years after the Greys swept in to pick the last dregs of humanity out of the wreckage of a ruined world, John has found himself bonded to Martok Barden, one of the good Greys. Sure, Martok is broke, homeless, and borderline manic, but he's always treated John like an actual person and sometimes like a friend. It's a better deal than most humans get. It's not super long, 288 pages. I have no idea what to expect based on that synopsis. But I think curiosity alone may be enough to get me to read it. A lot of 4 stars. Highly entertaining dystopian sci-fi romp, satirical. Premise was really interesting. Strong world building, beloved characters, thought-provoking adventure. This next one looks like it is the beginning of a new series. It comes out February 24th, and it has pretty high rating so far, 4.48, and that is The Iron Garden Sutra by A.D. Sui. Claire in the Sun meets S.A. Barnes' Dead Silence with a touch of Becky Chambers' A Psalm for the Wild Built, which I've heard amazing things about. A darkly philosophical murder mystery as a death monk and a team of researchers trapped on board a spaceship of the dead encounter something beyond human understanding. So we've got sci-fi, we've got murder mystery, it's set in space. According to this, it's also got a bit of horror in it. And I love that it has so many high ratings already. Okay, Nathaniel says this is the book of 2026. Meditative and philosophical, compelling mystery at its dark heart. Not a great review on that one. This person, Sarah, feels incredibly lucky to have read the book so early. All right, next we have Jitterbug, which comes out March 3rd, and it's by Gareth L. Powell. In this twisty and action-packed adventure, a crew of bounty hunters find themselves ensnared in a conspiracy on the very fringes of the devastated solar system. I really like the cover. I love when there's a little astronaut on the cover. If you like your sci-fi with some space, could be a good one for you. Not a whole lot of ratings so far, and they're pretty spaced out. Hell's Heart by Alexis Hall. This one is a queer sci-fi horror. Gideon the Ninth meets Moby Dick. Earth is a ruin, and the scattered remnants of humanity scavenge what they can from the stars under the watchful auspices of a grab bag of collectives, corporations, and churches, which are all that remains of what we once called society. Having long exhausted any conventional sources of energy, life in the solar system is now sustained by a volatile, hallucinogenic substance called spermaceti, which is harvested from the brains of vast cetacean-like leviathans that swim the atmospheric currents of Jupiter. March 17th, we have another sci-fi horror, and that is Crawl Space by Adam Christopher. An edge-of-your-seat nightmare to the darkest frontiers. Mission-led Olivia O'Connor and her team from the Artemis Corporation, along with their military liaison, are in the final preparations of an undertaking that will alter the course of human... Wow, who wrote this? That will alter the course of human, the first faster-than-light test. Okay. Alter the course of human life? The first faster-than-light test flight, that finally opening up the expanse. Okay. It doesn't fill me with much confidence that even the synopsis has so many errors. Journey between dimensions is one they never trained for. Strange voices in the corridors, long lost faces not forgotten, strange symbols. I'm not sure about this one. Ratings are not great so far, although there's only 12. Don't love all the errors in the summary. How long is it? It's not super long. 240 pages. It's a sci-fi horror. Maybe if you could get through it quickly. I don't know. It might surprise me. Next, we have another Libernauts book club pick. I can't remember which month this is for. I want to say like May or June. It has really good ratings so far. 101 ratings, 4.49 star rating. It's Celestial Lights by Cecil Pinn, a beautiful, heartbreaking novel about ambition, love, and space. January 28th, 1986. Soon after launch, the Challenger shuttle falls out of the sky and into the sea. At the same time, Oliver Inez is born. Celestial Lights is his story. Ollie spends his childhood in an English village where his bedroom is covered in glow-in-the-dark wallpaper bearing the planets and stars. Decades later, he has become one of the most renowned astronauts of his time. When an enterprising billionaire taps him to lead a landmark mission to the distant moon Europa, Ollie makes a choice that will send his whole world spinning. As the mission advances deeper into uncharted territory, Ollie finds himself retreating into the past, his university days in London and years in the Navy, relationships found and lost, becoming a husband and father. But will the world he remembers still be waiting for him when he returns? It sounds like it's going to be a bit emotional. It's listed as sci-fi, historical fiction, and literary fiction. March 24th, we have Seasons of Glass and Iron. This is another short story collection by Amal El-Motar. This one has stories that are both sci-fi and fantasy. Looks like there's some queer stories as well. Some poetry. Full of glimpses into gleaming worlds and fairy tales with teeth, Seasons of Glass and Iron is a collection of acclaimed and awarded work. Decent rating so far, 4.15. And now we're into some April books. For April 7th, we have The Subtle Art of Folding Space by John Chu, an exhilarating debut science fiction novel from Nebula and Hugo-winning author John Chu channels unhinged physics, generational trauma, and the comfort of really good dim sum. This isn't your usual jaunt through quantum physics. Ellie's universe, and this one, is falling apart. Her ailing mother is in a coma. Her sister, Chris, accuses her of being insufficiently Chinese between assassination attempts, and a shadowy cabal of engineers is trying to hijack the Skunk Works, the machinery that keeps the physics of each universe working the way it's supposed to. Oh, that's scary. Having something so necessary to keep your world turning, basically, and it can be hijacked. That's terrifying. Pretty short, 240 pages. So far the ratings are so-so. Not terrible, not great. Mostly 4 stars. Not enough sci-fi with how hard people work to keep everything from falling out of the sky. This book will make you hungry. I could see that. Also out April 7th, we have What We Are Seeking by Cameron Reed, a soaring novel of queer hope and transformation, perfect for readers of Anne Leckie and Amal El-Motar. Sci-fi, queer. On the planet Scythia, plants give birth to insects. Trees can drag you to your death, and armies of animals graft native plants into human crops. John Marantha has been abandoned here, light years from a peaceful forest that he loves. The desert is harsh, and the people enthrall to a barbaric custom called That's a good one. He must find some way to make a life here, but on Scythia, survival means transformation, and not everyone is willing to accept change. What an interesting concept. 352 pages. Decent reviews so far. Decent. There's only 9 of them, but 4.44 star rating. Mostly 5 stars. Planetary romance with deep thematic resonance. This is a book about accepting the inevitability of change and transformation, even in ourselves and those we love. I would like to read this. April 21st, we have Permanence by Sophie McIntosh. This one looks very literary, and it is. I was going to say it's got a very literary cover. The story of a clandestine affair in an alternate city designed to foster it. Clara and Francis are in love, but nobody knows it. For months they have been stealing away from their respective lives, leaving no trace of their relationship behind. Their time together is always excruciatingly sweet and all too short, until one day they wake up in an apartment neither of them recognizes, with no memory of how they got there. The other city is a self-contained sanctuary where adulterers live openly as couples. That is a very interesting concept. Here there are fountains and old town squares and perfect cafes with checkered tablecloths. Ripe fruits wait on the counter each morning. Invisible threads bind each lover to the other, and their primary responsibility is to enjoy one another. Contact with the real world is impossible, and the city's whims are mysterious, but now those stolen afternoons can last forever. How much would you sacrifice for a life you never thought possible, and how long can you stay in paradise before the cracks start to show? I feel like this one is going to have very mixed reviews. I personally don't have an issue with books that have infidelity in them, but I know a lot of people do. So to have a book where the entire concept is basically a town that caters to cheaters, very interested to see how this goes over. Pretty short, 240 pages. Beautiful writing. Original concept, very. That's the second time somebody has said hazy. Hazy clinical writing. This person says mostly vibes, minimal plot, a fable about the dilemma of choice and its consequences. This person said story was simultaneously so underwhelming while also finding a way to make me so angry. This one's going to be interesting to see reviews once it does come out. Next, April 21st, we have The Photonic Effect by Mike Chen, who I believe is the same author as... What is it? What is it? What is that one? A Quantum Love Story. That's the one I was thinking of. I thought it was pink for some reason. Vampire Weekend. Okay, so those are two that I've heard of from him. But he's got quite a few more than that. The Photonic Effect. A page-turning space opera in which a starship captain and her crew receive a distress signal and find themselves at odds with various factions of a galactic civil war, for fans of Alistair Reynolds and Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is a long one, 448 pages. I personally am not a huge space opera fan. Unfortunately, I've tried out a few of them and they don't do it for me. But if that is your thing, then I would say definitely check this one out. Also on April 21st, we have The Many by Sylvain Neuvel. I've definitely heard of this author before. What are other books they've written? Okay, Sleeping Giants. Yep. All right. The minds of 5 normal people merge in a beautiful, unnerving first contact story where the strangest thing humanity has to face is each other, from the critically acclaimed author of Sleeping Giants. I did read The Merge last year, which has a similar concept where 2 people are merged together into one brain. And that concept fascinates me and terrifies me at the same time. But to have 5 minds merged together, like, holy cow. I think just purely curiosity is something that's going to get me to read this one. Plus that cover is gorgeous. And it interestingly reminds me a lot of the cover of The Merge as well. Very colorful face. This one's got multiple faces, but early reviews are decent, 3.84, mostly 4-star. First contact sci-fi story with an interesting twist. Hilarious. I wouldn't have pegged it as being hilarious. Interesting. Also on April 21st, we have The Language of Liars by S.L. Wong. Really good rating so far, 4.36. Speak in other people's language, know them, become them, and discover you've destroyed them. In his training as a spy, Roe was told he will always be living a lie. To understand is to become. It never occurs to him that the mere act of understanding can destroy. Oh, novella. Is this a short one? Oh, it is. 176 pages. April 28th, we have We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune. This is also a Libernauts book club pick this year. And this one is also a novella, 176 pages. A heart-wrenching standalone novel follows an old queer couple on an end-of-the-world road trip. Husbands Don and Rodney have lived a good long life. Together they've experienced the highest highs of love and family, and low so low they felt like the world would end. Now their world is ending for real. A wandering black hole is coming for Earth, and in a month everything and everyone they've known will be gone. On the road they meet those who refuse to believe death is coming and those who rush to meet it. Next, for April 28th, we have Ode to the Half-Broken by Suzanne Palmer. This one is a dystopian sci-fi. Looks like there's a lot of AI involved. 4.4 average star rating so far. 40 years ago the world nearly ended. B is an old robot who was there and doesn't want to think about what happened or what role they played in that conflict. They have settled into a life of isolation in the abandoned ruins of an old mill in the former New York Botanical Gardens, disinterested in what has happened in the outside world since they stepped away from the war. Someone out there, though, has not forgotten about them, and when they are attacked, their person vandalized, and one of their legs stolen, they set out to find the thief accompanied by a cyborg dog and human mechanic. That sounds really sad. The story is about coming to terms with your past, with who you've become and who you still want to be, a tale of resilience and hope, an ode to those struggling to become whole in a world half broken. 416 pages. Really good rating so far, though. What a treat this was. Equal parts heartwarming and gripping. They also compared this one to A Psalm for the Wild Built. Robot Found Family. Also on April 28th, we have The Radiant Dark by Alexandra Olivia. Pretty good rating so far, 4.08. Arrival meets Wild Dark Shore in this captivating novel that follows a family for over 50 years, a bold and compassionate exploration of the universe around us and what it truly means to be human. Contemporary sci-fi fiction, literary fiction, speculative, an inexplicable flickering of light in the sky, which is ultimately determined to be communication from intelligent life on another planet. But these beings are 11 light years away, and nothing is known about them other than the fact that they seem to know we exist too. And so begins a decades-long exchange of messages with this mysterious, faraway civilization. That definitely sounds interesting. 416 pages, mostly 5 and 4 stars. So many layers, so much depth, so much emotion. This one's not so good. I couldn't wait to finish the book. Something pushed me to finish reading it. I think I was hopeful for an interesting conclusion. Didn't expect to love this as much as I did. Now we're on to May books. So May 5th, The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. Pretty well-known author. I think mostly in the fantasy realm, but this one is sci-fi. It is a space opera. Get ready to be blown away by this searing standalone space opera where corporate samurai fight beneath merciless stars and death is always a mere breath away. 416 pages. Great rating. So 4.65, mostly 5 stars. May 5th, we have Cousins from a Distant Sun by Tamara Myers. Love the cover. I do believe this is also a Libronauts Book Club pick this year. 224 pages, no rating so far. An archaeologist is drawn into a mission to save a mysterious community of supernatural beings hiding deep within the Andes in this humorous, offbeat novel. The fact that there's an archaeologist and the fact that it's humorous were kind of the things that initially pulled me to this book, plus the cover, which is amazing. So it's a rollicking adventure, perfect for fans of quirky, fun science fiction from Riley August and Becky Chambers. Haven't read from either of those people, but the quirkiness, the humor, that's definitely something that I am interested in. Next, on May 12th, we have Radiant Star by Anne Leckie. This one is science fiction. It is queer. It is space opera. Anne Leckie returns to the world of Imperial Ratch in this standalone. Only 3 ratings so far, but looks like they were good. 400 pages. We've got 2 5 stars and a 4 star. So yeah, it sounds like if you are a fan of this author already, then this is definitely one for you to pick up. Okay, May 12th. This one I'm excited about, but I think it's because I love the cover. Ignore All Previous Instructions by Ada Hoffman. A script supervisor for an AI media conglomerate is caught between her intense need for an orderly life and her deeper, darker queer desires. From the creator of the Outside trilogy, a heartfelt interplanetary epic of identity, longing, and a space pirate who smuggles inappropriate stories. Kelly Reynolds loves creating stories more than anything in the world, but on Callisto, a generative AI company called Inspiration owns everything, including all the media, and only Inspiration determines which stories can be told. Ooh. Kelly has a rare and coveted job in which her autism is to her advantage. Okay, so we have some autism rep in here. She precisely edits AI output into appropriate stories for Inspiration's massive TV audience. Her proudest creation is the pirate Orlando, a dashing do-gooder based on stories she used to tell friends. Passionate, dangerous, and tender, Ignore All Previous Instructions is a sweeping, poignant novel about censorship, forbidden love, and growing up. 4.31 rating so far. 320 pages. May 12th, we have All That Glows by Lauren Smith. I love the cover of this one. It looks so pretty when you first look at it, but I feel like the closer you look at it, you're like, oh, it's like, it's giving toxic. So this one doesn't have much of anything, actually. I have definitely seen a synopsis for this book before. Maybe it's on Instagram. The apocalypse didn't take everyone, it just took us. Ever since the rain turned green, Kiri's world has been bathed in glowing dust. She packs it into old mascara tubes and sells it as makeup alongside dried cacti, threadbare blankets, and long expired canned food. There's not much else to do when everyone outside Kiri's small town in the Mojave Desert died from the plague-bearing rain 10 years ago. Everyone except the man in the rubber mask. So yeah, is this maybe sci-fi as well? So this it doesn't say it on here, but this one is a YA dystopian sci-fi. Love the idea of poisonous rain. May 14th, we have The Republic of Memory by Mahmoud El-Said. The Safina is a city ship 200 years into its voyage from the ruins of Earth towards a new habitable world. Its crew maintain the ship generation after generation while protecting their ancestors, the final remnants of Earth's doomed network empire, by keeping them alive in cryostasis. Science fiction odyssey of breathtaking scope, Republic of Memory is a gripping examination of what divides us and what brings us together. This one also shows space opera, 416 pages, a lot of 5-star ratings. Author's a former journalist, and you can see that his experience informs how he writes about the tricky political situation aboard a generation ship. May 19th, we have Palaces of the Crow by Ray Naylor. I've definitely heard of this author before. Actually, I'm pretty sure he had a book that came out just last year as well, Where the Axe is Buried. That's what it was. It's also historical, which is kind of cool. So, speculative novel of the recent past, 4 young teens caught between Nazis and the Red Army survive winter in the woods with the help of a flock of highly intelligent crows with a magnificent secret of their own to protect. So a young Jewish girl who dreams of becoming a biologist has befriended a local flock of crows in her shtetl. Underage Polish soldier who deserts the Red Army and runs into the freezing Lithuanian woods. Roma horse trader whose family is on the run from Soviet collectivization. German blitzkrieg crashes across the border in June 1941. All 3 are caught up in the onslaught. Along with an abandoned boy who cannot speak, they are driven into the primeval forest where they survive by forming an unbreakable bond with one another, and Neria's intelligent crows, who for years have been bringing her intricate gifts, suggesting they are no ordinary corvids. So if you're a fan of historical fiction, this could be a good one for you to check out. Can't remember if I said, but 384 pages. Just a few reviews so far, but pretty good. Memories of survival and the life before war shape the story of found family. So yeah, this person says speculative historical fiction. May 19th, we have In Side by Side They Wander by Molly Tanzer. This is a novella, 112 pages. An intergalactic art heist by a ragtag group of underqualified misfits. What could go wrong? For 300 years, humanity's greatest works of art have been on loan at the Greenwood Museum. It was finally time for them to come home, but the alien curators were disinclined to return them. A meditation on the nature of love, life, and the culture of the copy. Early reviews, mostly 3 stars, so 3.7 average star rating. May 26th, we have The Redemption Center is Closed on Sundays by Andrea Hairston. Do we still not have... Oh. How long did it say that was? 416 pages. Science fiction mystery. So for those of you interested in trying out sci-fi and you're already a mystery lover, then perhaps this would be a good one for you. In the heart of mystery lies redemption. Every Sunday, Una the Saint Birdoodle and her current owner Zuzu make their way through the winding paths of the state park to the enigmatic Redemption Center, a place often mistaken for a haunted mansion. It does look very haunted in that cover. When a local celebrity is found murdered, the unexpected brings Una together with a ragtag group of local misfits. Another misfit story. Gotcha. Together they venture into the depths of the center's mystery to untangle the threads of murder and deception. But Una holds too. She's a citizen of the multiverse, able to travel between dimensions at will, and more importantly, she knows the killer's identity. Unfortunately, the killer knows she knows, and he's determined to find her and silence her for good. You can't kill a dog. Absolutely not. An extra-dimensional murder mystery with conundrums, alien tricksters, and a dog detective who just doesn't know the meaning of stay. That sounds super cute. And I'm not even a huge mystery fan, but the fact that there's a dog main character and there's like interdimensional space travel, that sounds pretty cool. June 2nd, we have the next Emily Jane book. I have 3 of her books, and I haven't read any of them. Mr. Yeh comes out June 2nd. A hilarious genre-bending speculative novel about rappers and dogs, love and marriage, private detectives, conspiracy theories, nostalgia, and embracing your true self in a world where the past is different than what you remember. Mandela effect, perhaps? This is a long one, 448 pages. Early reviews are pretty good, 4.6. 2 completely different universes collide. This book is weird, delightful, and so much fun. Oh, the author said that about her own book. Which is fine, but I want to hear from other people. Amazing Novel is a welcome and wonderful addition to her growing catalog of total bangers. Once again manages to meld the wacky and absurd with the genuine and the heartfelt. This one is a queer sci-fi, an alternate 1970s science fiction romance blending first contact and queer counterculture in the Los Angeles disco scene, perfect for readers of Vara Chandrasekhar and Victor Manobo. 1977, a world in which America launched its space program shortly after World War II, Mitch Ward followed Flynn, the lost love of his youth, into the U.S. Space Guard. Now he's stuck on a backwater moon base with his only friend Gloria watching every shuttle in the hope Flynn will be on it. After an inexplicable encounter with a strange euphoric being, Mitch and Gloria find themselves dishonorably discharged and stuck in a USA rapidly sliding into fascism with no plans and no future. There's nothing for it but to move to Los Angeles to chase their dreams and find their people in the discos of the city. But when Flynn crashes back into their lives claiming to be the host for an emissary of a utopian civilization approaching Earth, he offers Mitch the power to protect himself and his friends across the queer community so they never have to live in the shadows or face oppression again. June 2nd, we have Sublimation by Isabel J. Kim. This is another Libernauts book club pick for this year. Pretty good rating so far, 4.6 average star rating. Debut novel, The Border Cuts You in Two. When you immigrate, you leave a copy of yourself behind. One person enters their new country, the other stays trapped at home. Some instances keep in touch, call each other daily, keep their lives and minds in sync, in the hopes of reintegrating and resuming a life as one person. Others, like Soyoung Rose Kang, leave home at 10 and never speak to their other selves again. Rose, in America, never imagined going back to Korea until her grandfather dies and her Korean instance calls her home for the funeral. When she arrives, she discovers that Soyoung plans to steal her body and live her life whether Rose wants to reintegrate or not. Sublimation is a literary speculative fiction novel that pits the lives we choose against the lives we leave behind. It's an immigrant story like no other, capturing the longing for another life and twisting it into a dangerous game of cat and mouse. That sounds fascinating. I'm very excited for that one. I can't remember what month we're doing this one. Probably July would be my guess. 368 pages. Yeah, pretty good reviews so far. Okay, Odyssey of Choices and Regrets. Absolute joy to read. June 23rd, we have The Sixth Nick by Daniel Kraus. This is the same author as Whalefall, which I read three or 4 years ago, I want to say. So this one, startling hybrid of Alien and Ender's Game. Deep into space, far past the tri-world outpost, beyond range of the lethal trollbot internet, soars the A-ship, woven from biomatter and capable of reacting to every need of its human crew. Cecilia is a 9-year-old cultist with a brain enhanced by arcane tech known as Nyx, has boarded to investigate the enigma of Fem, a plague-riddled planet that has abruptly gone rogue. So this one's not really up my alley, so I probably won't read it, but how many pages is it? Because this one doesn't say. 464 pages. So Adrian Tchaikovsky is a pretty well-known sci-fi author I have yet to read from. But on June 23rd, we have Green City Wars. This author does a lot of series. I don't think this one is part of a series, but it says sci-fi, fantasy, mystery. There's animals, which I do see. Is that raccoon wearing a hat? That raccoon's wearing a hat. Oh my goodness. Okay. Philip Marlowe meets Redwall in the superior adult noir tale, where all the characters are animals fighting for survival in the city underneath the humans. Down these mean streets a beast must walk. Meet Scotch, raccoon PI. Yours for a few buttons as long as the job isn't too illegal, whatever that means. A mouse has gone missing. Normally this wouldn't raise any hackles nor any alarms, but this mouse has something that everyone seems to want, though nobody appears particularly eager to say what that something is. The fee is good, perhaps too good, certainly not something Scotch can easily turn down. If only Scotch can work out where the mouse is hiding, what he's hiding, and why his secrets are upsetting a lot of animals caught up in the Green City Wars. Well, that just sounds fantastic. I will be reading this one. 368 pages. Interesting. The author, he studied zoology. 4.57 average star rating so far. This man's output is insane. Yeah, he writes a lot of books. Really dug this, but I recommend not reading it in a single 6-hour stretch like I did. The labeled sections work pretty well as episodes, which fits the pulp detective stylings of the story. So I recommend maybe reading one section a day to give yourself some time to think on the ideas. That's a good tip. Really well written book with a fun and creative premise. This is going to be a fun one. This one comes out June 30th. This is another Libernauts book club pick for the year. Dead But Dreaming of Electric Sheep by Paul Tremblay. Philip K. Dick meets the Coen brothers in this genre-bending near-future tech nightmare that is as bitingly funny as it is horrifically believable. So it's horror sci-fi. Julia Flang, a 20-something former semi-professional gamer, living with her retired uncle and working 2 jobs she doesn't like. Out of the blue, her estranged mother, a CFO for one of the world's largest tech companies, offers her a temp job with a payday Julia can't refuse. One sham interview later, she's offered the chance to chaperone a man in a vegetative state, one with proprietary AI implanted into his head from California to the East Coast. Heady, horrific, genre-bending from one of the most groundbreaking voices in fiction today. Definitely, if you're an existing horror fan, this would probably be a really good one for you to check out. 336 pages. I think it only had 1 rating, yeah. Nobody else could make me read sci-fi. Very interested to see what everyone thinks of this one. So July 7th, we have Mossed in Space by Rebecca Thorne. This is number 1 in a new series. The cozy sci-fi fantasy but it's also a queer romance. Delights in a brand new cozy sci-fi series for fans of Martha Wells and Olivia Waite. Okay, so Torian Rasner finally bought a starship, and contrary to Amelia's assessment, it was not a meteoric sign of stupidity. Sure, the alien starship may have been abandoned for a century, and it may be covered in moss now, but it's Torian's ticket to freedom, regardless of what her captain said. Except Torian's first flight reveals a surprise passenger. The moss is actually an organic computer with a snarky attitude and serious abandonment issues. I love personified technology. It's kind of funny. The target of its loathing, the immortal alien who built it and then parked the starship with Moss inside and forgot about it. The same alien who just found Torian and accused her of stealing the ship. It's entirely possible that Amelia was right about this meteoric stupidity. 368 pages. So yeah, these ones are so far out. There's not many reviews yet. But of the 9, it's got a 4-star rating. Out July 14th, we have Not With a Bang by Temi O. This is another book club pick for Libranauts. I believe this one is August, if I'm not mistaken. And I do know for a fact that in August we are not going to have a live show. It's just going to be a buddy read month, so it'll be the same format. You can still chat about the book on Fable, but there's not going to be a live show on my YouTube channel. 352 pages. Not great rating so far, but there's only 3. So it's a little early. Like I said, it doesn't come out till July 14th. When the world finally ends, will you see it coming? Will you be prepared? In the summer sky, a celestial object is fast approaching, due to slingshot around the Earth and disappear again. And everyone has their own theory on what it is. A meteor, a planet, aliens. Meanwhile, the Minton family is in crisis. Briar Minton can't stop thinking about the girl who went missing 6 months ago. Investigating her disappearance takes her down a rabbit hole deep into the world of occult and the extraterrestrial intelligence they claim is communicating with them. At the same time, her father Marcus is becoming more unhinged after losing his job as a policeman, becoming obsessed with doomsday prepping and forcing his wife and 4 daughters along for the ride. He is completely convinced, and maybe even a little bit hopeful, that the apocalypse is imminent. As the celestial object approaches, the Mittens reach their breaking point. Can they find their way back to each other at the end of the world? It's always interesting stories when there's like an impending end of the world. It's interesting to kind of read about various characters and how they handle that situation. July 28th is called Demon Star by Jesse Aragon. Pretty good rating so far, 4.69. Gods rule this planet. Demon stalks its canyons while kings beg for mercy. Can 3 mere humans rewrite its destiny? The otherworldly religious conflict of Dune, the cosmic strangeness of Gideon the Ninth, and the heart-pounding action of Red Rising converge in this horror-tinged epic science fantasy debut. So this would probably be a good one for fantasy lovers that are trying to dip their toes into sci-fi. 500 pages, so it's definitely fantasy length. It's a cinematic thrill ride. Jesse Aragon plunges us into a world as intricate and inventive as it is brutal. Like I said, pretty good rating so far, mostly 5-star. Okay, when I say no one is ready for this book, and I cannot wait until people read it and I can talk about it. This is so dark, and the characters are so morally gray and human and irritating and fascinating, and the world building is so intense, and the bugs on this planet are so creepy. Love a thick book that promises to feed my intellect, bruise my heart, and take me for an edge-of-my-seat ride that leaves me hungrily diving back in line in the hopes of a round 2. July 28th, Felicity Complex by August Clark. 320 pages, no ratings yet. Annie Bot meets Fallout in this dystopian. 6 women created in a lab designed to serve the billionaires of the future in a luxury fallout shelter rebel against their programming after the end of time arrives. Okay, I've only seen episode 1 of Fallout, haven't played the game, so I get the vibes from that. I did read Annie Bot. I enjoyed it. I hope this is like a good for her type story. Welcome to the Felicity Complex, constructed during the height of the Cold War. Our unique hotel is prepared to protect you, the billionaire class, from nuclear annihilation. Shielded from radiation and supplemented with closed air systems and hydroponic gardens, this resort bunker offers a prime existence, full gymnasium and spa, gourmet meals, top-tier medical care, and the best in entertainment. Meet Hallelujah, grown in a lab and educated in the ways of concierge hospitality. She believes in her duty to comfort the Lord-anointed refugees of the apocalypse, even if her lover Anastasia disagrees, even if her creator, Dr. Younghusband, is disappointed in her. Don't worry, everyone is safe from the communists in the Felicity Complex. And I hope it comes crashing down at the hands of these women. Okay, August 4th, we have The Infinite State by Richard Swan. Science fiction, fantasy dystopian, 416 pages, so pretty long. Really good rating so far, 4.78. In this blistering science fiction epic, international bestselling author Richard Swan presents a thrilling tale of survival and an eviscerating examination of totalitarianism. The Infinite State begins at a flashpoint in the lives of a widowed party member, a disgraced investigator, and a hyper sled pilot, entangled in a plot to escape the suffocating authority of a fascist state. Catherine Fuller's husband is dead. As an esteemed member of Pater Eternus, a governing party of the fascist galaxy-spanning Decurion Empire, he has left behind the estate in a state of immeasurable wealth, and Catherine is going to inherit it. Okay, life under the Eternal Father is rigidly stratified, surveilled, and controlled, but the Empire cannot allow its wayward daughter to succeed. Catherine works in secret, recruiting allies she's not even sure she can trust. Catherine is going to create something nobody has seen for many years, a democracy. Okay, really good ratings, like I said. Instantly familiar, yet utterly unique sci-fi. Riveting, compelling, entirely unputdownable. Star Wars meets 1928, meets The Expanse, meets Brave New World. All right, we've come to my most anticipated sci-fi release of 2026, and that is Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel. This one comes out September 17th, and this is going to be the November Libronauts Book Club pick this year. 2031, America is at war with itself. But for the first time in weeks, there is some good news. The Republic of California has been declared, the curfew in Los Angeles is lifted, and everyone in the city is going to a party. Ari, newly released from prison, arrives with her friend Gloria just as a fragile new era begins. But there are people at the party who shouldn't be there. Something is very wrong. Years later, living a different life in Paris, Ari remains haunted by that night. Whatever happened at the party fractured her sense of reality and may hold the key to a very different world. Exit Party is Emily St. John Mandel's electrifying new novel about freedom and surveillance, art and survival, love and loss in a broken world. It's speculative, literary, and of course, science fiction. I'm super excited for this one. Really good rating so far, 4.75. Inject this into my veins. This sounds so good. Okay, so this person didn't actually read it. I don't think anyone's read it yet. I think these are just anticipatory ratings. The Ruse by China Mayville, over 1,200 pages long. Not much is said about this one. So it's listed as a fantasy first, so I'm wondering if this is maybe more fantasy, but it does list sci-fi as well. From the best-selling and award-winning master of speculative fiction comes a deeply moving, decade and continent-spanning force to investigate a devastating personal tragedy. An ordinary woman stumbles on dark conspiracies and provokes the attention of uncanny forces. Those are a lot of the 2026 science fiction releases. Definitely a lot that I'm interested in, still some that I'm not, but I still wanted to share with you in case you were interested in reading them. Let me know in the comments below if any of these pique your interest. If I missed any sci-fi releases coming out this year that you're super excited for, please let me know so I can make sure it's on my radar. Thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and until next time.